I really hope these first few conversations have been beneficial to you in your journey to meet God. In this one, we want to talk about the personality of God. Did you know God has a personality? I think this is one of the biggest misconceptions that people have of God. They think he's this unrelatable, powerful force that is impersonal and doesn't connect at all with people. And that is so not what God is like. The Bible tells us that we're made in his image, and we all have personalities, and it tells us then, therefore, that God himself has a personality. Now, let me just go a direction here just briefly. I want you to think of the people in your life that you value and appreciate their personalities most. And if there was a way that you could combine them all into one person, if you multiply that then by gazillion, that might give you a little tiny glimpse of what God's personality is like. You see, his personality is so big and so awesome, so alive and so impacting that it has to be spread in little pieces to all of us. And so when we're together, we get to enjoy one another, and in enjoying one another, we also get to see little glimpses of God's personality. Now, part of our personalities and God's is we have these three things in common. We have a mind, we have a will, and we have emotions. Let me talk about each of those briefly. First of all, God's mind. He definitely knows it all. His knowledge and understanding is absolutely full and complete. God also has in his mind awareness, meaning he's fully aware of everything going on simultaneously. He knows where every dust particle is dropping to the ground, and he knows where every planet is all at the same time. His awareness of you and me and what's going on in our lives all at the same time it's hard to comprehend. But there's another attribute here, or aspect, I should say, of God's mind, and that is his creativity. God's creativity is remarkable. I see his creativity in creation all the time. I enjoy it when I'm snorkeling in Hawaii, one of the places Cheryl and I love. And when we snorkel in Hawaii under the water, seeing the beauty of God's creation. Recently, when I took my grandson, Barron, to the zoo, I was again reminded of God's creativity, of him thinking of kind of deciding, okay, I'm going to pull this neck up a little higher, and we're going to call this a giraffe, or the stripes of a zebra, or the swinging and the causing laughter that the monkeys bring. It's an amazing things God has created. He's also given us art and music and drama. All those things of creativity are birthed out of the personality of God. Amazing, isn't it? Now, God also has a will. He has an ability to choose things just like you and I do. And he's chosen to love us. He's chosen to want to have a relationship with us. He's chosen to reveal himself to us. His will also is a wonderful thing in that, remember how we talked about how God is all powerful when we were talking about the nature of God? Well, he's not power out of control. See, his will, his ability to choose, allows him to use his power for love and blessing. Now, God also has emotions. I think this is one of the pieces that we often miss about God because, again, we think of this impersonal force. But God has emotions. He feels things, and he feels them genuinely. He feels them deeply, deeper than you and I could ever feel anything because he's God. But God has feelings. Do you know in the story of Genesis where Noah and the ark, and the Bible tells us that God was so grieved at the evil and the sin in that generation that he was going to wipe them out from the planet. He was going to preserve Noah and his family and the animals. Well, there's a passage there that talks about how God, what he saw, it grieved him in his heart. See, that's a very genuine and real emotion that God felt, grieved. So I want us to understand that God's personality includes his feelings, that he actually has emotions of great joy, like abandoned joy, but also grief. And so that helps us understand him a little bit more. One other thing I want to say about God's personality is he's an incredible communicator. He's given us creation, he's given us the Bible to communicate with us, and he sent Jesus to give us a picture of what he looks like in the flesh, in human form. As we wrap up this conversation, I want you to begin to think about the various ways that you have maybe not paid attention to the personality of God, and invite him, in a very personal way, invite him to reveal himself to you and his personality to you in these days of your life. I look forward to joining you in our next conversation as we talk about the ways of God.